Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I have a awesome upload set for you guys. I've got encounters, I've got stuff that is strange in the news, and I've got a subscriber gift that I want to share with you all. Truly blown away by the generosity of you guys. I am blessed to have subscribers and friends like you. But before we get into all of that, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. Guys, all of these things, they do help, and they really do matter. And now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload, shall we? Alright guys, so the first item of the upload, or first whatnot, is the gift from the subscriber. When COVID occurred, I instantly started to collect silver and little ingots of gold that you can buy. You can buy like little gram pieces of gold. But I really started to get silver because if by chance everything goes to hell in a handbasket, I want to make sure that I have something to trade with. And there was a 2-ounce silver coin that had a werewolf or Dogman on it. And I got that. Many of you guys I've seen have purchased one. But a subscriber just reached out to me, and I had never even heard of the company, and I forgot what the company's name is. It's written upstairs. I'm in my, I guess, second studio now. But yeah, it's a 1-ounce silver coin, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's werewolf. And on the back, it's got this really interesting kind of swirl effect. But I guess it's he's got this collection of coins like that, and it's like a monster collection. I remember the Creature of the Blue Lagoon, or some kind of aquatic reptile, werewolf and such. But amazing. I mean, I cannot ask for more generous and supportive subscribers, friends. So thank you. Now, with that, and I'm not going to mention his name because he didn't express that he wanted me to. So, that's how I am. You know, I believe that people are entitled to their anonymity unless they give expressed permission to do it. So, let's get on to some very strange, possible Dogman involvement in the news. So many of you who have been with the channel for a while now know that I was pretty much obsessed with these strange disappearances that were happening in Tazewell, Buchanan, Virginia, and then right across the state line is Mercer, West Virginia. And there had been a lot of strange occurrences that had went on in those 3 counties, 2 states, 3 counties, and a lot of disappearances, a lot of deaths. Many of you remember when I called the Tazewell Sheriff Department, or Tazewell County. No. Anyway, yes, it was the Tazewell Sheriff's Department. And recorded the deputy saying that there had been 2 bodies found when Richard Timothy Honecker was found. And there had been no mention in the news of a second body. There still isn't. I don't know how this slipped through the cracks, but it did. And a subscriber from that area brought it to my attention. And it's fishy because it took place in the same location. So, let's get into it. June 6th, 2017. Smith County, Virginia, which is in Tazewell. Smith County Sheriff's Office needs the public's help finding a missing man. It's not in Tazewell, excuse me. Smith, Tazewell, Buchanan are all in the same region. Map it. It really is just one and the same. I don't live there, but we have counties where I live. We have Warren, Saratoga, and Washington County, that the towns are exactly the same. Actually, we shouldn't even have these separate counties because they should just be one large county. So, excuse me for misspeaking, but Smith County, Virginia, June 6th, 2017. Smith County Sheriff's Office needs the public's help finding a missing man. Deputies say Gary Earp could be in danger. His family says they have not heard from him since Thursday night. Investigators discovered his truck near the top of Clinch Mountain. They say the engine was still running, but Earp was nowhere to be found. Deputies say concerned citizens reported the Toyota pickup truck located at the gate near the top of the mountain in the management area. The truck was running, the caller said. A conservation officer from the Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries responded and called the sheriff's office for help. The sheriff's office and canines searched the area for the owner of the vehicle. It was found that the truck belonged to Gary Earp of Tazewell County, Virginia. Investigators believe that Earp's welfare could be in jeopardy due to medical conditions. If you see Earp or have any information that could help investigators find him, contact Smith County Sheriff's Office at 276-783-7204. So, key thing. They like to mention medical conditions. Could be in danger. May have mental or physical ailments. Yet he's capable of driving a vehicle, quite capable of working and living a life, but, yada yada. His truck's running. Clinch Mountain, ironically enough, is where last year a Dogman had been spotted dead on the side of the road by a concerned citizen. Then shortly after, he is now former conservation officer, reached out to me and shared a little bit more. As you know, DJ boots on the ground in that area. I had him kind of look into what was going on in that area. And very strange that this case, I'm surprised that this case fell through the cracks. But he's still missing. 2017. We are now in 2023, as all of you know, and there is no new articles, but there's a fairly recent from October 16th of 2022. Check this out. 5 years after, a Tazewell County man seemingly vanished at the Clinch Mountain Wildlife Area. Just inside of Smith County, investigators and family members are still hoping for a lead that will help uncover his fate. The search for 46-year-old Gary Shannon Earp came to a standstill just weeks after Police found his abandoned Toyota pickup in a gravel pull-off on Tumbling Creek Road in 2017. Smith County investigator Lieutenant Tony McCormick said the truck had been idling with the driver's door wide open when it was discovered just after midnight Saturday, June 3rd, 2017. That was an interesting detail, McCormick said, of the door being opened. Inside of the truck, investigators found Gary's wallet with cash and cards still inside, his glasses, and a bag of uneaten Hardee's breakfast. Gary's father, the elder Gary Earp, last saw his son late the previous Tuesday evening and last spoke to him Wednesday morning. The family had just returned Monday from a Memorial Day weekend camping trip in the Tumbling Creek area and was settling back into their weekly routine. He got up Wednesday morning and asked me if I wanted breakfast, and I said, No, go ahead. And that was the last time I had heard his voice, Earp Sr. said. The then 70-year-old world would come crashing down around him in the coming days. That evening, Earp learned from another son that his grandson was in critical condition at the hospital in North Carolina. Earp spent the next few days by his family's side before returning to his Bluefield home Friday night. That Saturday morning, Earp said he was sitting on his porch with his coffee, trying to gather his bearings, when police arrived to break the news that they had found Gary's truck near Tumbling Creek, and they have not been able to locate Gary. It just all went to crap then, Earp said. If it wasn't a crappy week already, it definitely went to crap then. Days later, Earp's grandson passed away, and he returned to North Carolina. That was a terrible 2 weeks for me. It really was, Earp said. I just didn't know what to do. Following the discovery of Gary's truck, police, with the Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources, the Virginia State Police, Smith, and Tazewell County Sheriff's Office, scoured the area searching for Gary. 2 days later, a search and rescue team with the Virginia Department of Emergency Management began a 3-week search of a vast swath of public land. Meanwhile, McCormick and his colleagues, assisted by Tazewell County investigators, began interviewing people who knew Gary and those who had been in the area that day, trying to find a lead on where or what may have happened. Through their investigation, they learned he had been spotted by a few loggers at the end of Tumbling Creek Road at around 3 p.m. Thursday. Another man reported that he had run into Gary in Saltville, Virginia, the town nearest the wildlife area, early Friday morning, and the Hardee's purchase put him in Chilhowie Friday evening. If I pronounce that wrong, I apologize. McCormick noted the truck had been fully functional. No flats, enough gas to make it back out of the area. The Toyota was later sent for a full forensic workup, but nothing significant to the investigation could be found. McCormick said attempts to locate Gary using his cell phone location was unsuccessful due to the lack of service, and a search of cell phone records turned up nothing useful. Searches of Gary's social media accounts also proved unhelpful, with no activity being recorded for a lengthy period of time before his disappearance. Earp's father said the camping and fishing at Tumbling Creek had been a family tradition for several decades. The family had enjoyed the Memorial Day trip the weekend before, he said. We all went over there that weekend and camped out and fished. We had a great time, Earp said. But he said his son had not mentioned to anyone that he planned to return to the area. While Earp said he hadn't noticed any strange behavior from his son leading up to his disappearance, he acknowledged there were some inconsistencies in Gary's habits that he didn't learn of until well after he went missing. According to court records, Gary had been scheduled that Thursday for a review hearing in Tazewell County Circuit Court on a non-guilty by reason of insanity plea. He entered a plea in 2014 on a probation violation charge that stemmed from an earlier child abuse conviction. When Gary did not appear at Thursday's hearing, the court issued a warrant for his arrest the following day. His missing the hearing appears to stand in contrast to the character portrayed in a letter written days earlier to the court by Gary's probation officer. In the letter, probation officer Philip Ward, who oversaw Gary's probation since December of 2016, described Gary as a model probationer, saying he has produced negative drug screens, reported to probation office as instructed, has followed his mental health condition release requirements, and has successfully abided to all conditions of his probation. In a second letter requesting the CAPAS written that Friday, the day before Gary's truck was found on Tumbling Creek Road, Ward said Gary hadn't appeared for his hearing the previous day, hadn't shown up to perform his court-ordered community service that Tuesday, and that Tazewell County deputies had been dispatched to his residence the previous day. Ward declined to be interviewed for this story. Neither McCormick nor his counterparts in Tazewell County could verify the law enforcement response to Gary's home. Gary's father, however, described his son as punctual, a man who never missed appointments or hearings, and who went beyond expectations at the food pantry in Richland, where he performed his community service. Gary had been living with his father since the separation from his wife and had previously struggled with his mental health. Earp said his son, who experienced episodes of paranoia, had been discharged after a lengthy stay at the Southwestern Virginia Mental Health Institute in Marion, Virginia, about 6 months prior to his disappearance. He said that his son had made great progress and had been setting goals for himself, with the ultimate goal of getting some degree of custody of his daughters. The elder Earp said his son, who previously worked as an engineer for Tazewell County, had planned to ask the court to allow him to seek regular employment at the missed review hearing. He wanted to get off disability and get out and be a productive person, and he was doing everything he could to achieve that goal. He knew that he had to be there to plead his case. Why on earth is he going to miss something like that? McCormick said the sightings put Gary in or nearby Tumbling Creek area on Thursday and Friday. The conversation between Gary and Saltville resident had been casual and there was no abnormal behavior reported. His behavior was not erratic. It was totally normal, he said. After 21 days, the search of Tumbling Creek area came to an end. During that time, McCormick said 18 to 26 search and rescue volunteers per day came to the area from all over Southwest Virginia, working in shifts to search the ground, Laurel Bed Lake, and the entire stretch of Tumbling Creek through what is known locally as the Gorge. The Virginia State Police also brought in a helicopter to search from the air, and tracking canines were brought in from several agencies for ground searches. Not a shred of anything led to a discovery. No footprints, no articles of clothing, no trash left behind, no signs of a campsite, no signs of an animal attack or struggle, McCormick said. Earp was quick to dismiss the possibility that his son had gotten lost in the forest or had been carried off by a wild animal. He said Gary had been camping and fishing in that area since he was 4 years old and knew the land and its inhabitants from one end to the other. He knew that place, Earp said. He had been all over the place over there. It wasn't like it was the first time he had been there. He'd been going there since he was a 4-year-old. As for wildlife, Earp said, he knew animals all over, the bear, the deer, the snakes, everything. He knew it all. So I just don't believe that that was the case. Earp said he believed something more sinister led to his son's disappearance. Guys, I really want to just cut in, but Earp said he believes something more sinister led to his son's disappearance. I believe something else happened. Somebody met up with him there, or something, he said, pointing to the food left behind in his son's truck. Earp wonders if Gary was expecting to meet somebody. No signs of violence or foul play had been discovered, nor had there been any leads surface to suggest any other cause of Gary's disappearance. McCormick said all avenues are still being considered. There also were no other tire tracks found in the area by Earp's truck. After the search ended, the case pretty much went cold with no leads. Nothing came in. As for his own theories, McCormick said, you toss around everything when these things happen. I try not to develop theories about what happened until we've got some sort of evidence to point us in a certain direction. And we just don't have anything on this case. Investigators collected DNA samples from Gary's father and one of his daughters to have them entered into the National Missing and Unidentified Person System, known as NamUs, or NamUs, N-A-M-U-S. The database seeks to connect the remains of unidentified descendants to those who have been reported missing. Gary has also been listed in the National Crime Information Center, or NCIC, which allows law enforcement to quickly access an index of missing person and criminal information should they encounter the person. Additionally, McCormick also runs regular checks on Gary's social security number to see if it's been used in employment or any other records. So far, nothing has come up. Earp said Gary's disappearance has been incredibly hard for the family. His family misses him terribly. His girls miss their dad. We'd just like to have some sort of closure. Now, at 74 years old, Earp still visits the Tumbling Creek area. His most recent trip was this past 4th of July. I've been over there every year since then, and I've looked and looked and looked, and nothing at all, despite the devastating experience tied to the area. Though Earp said Tumbling Creek still holds so many happy memories for his family, memories of Gary, memories he plans to continue to make. I want to pass it on to my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, because it's a good place. Lots of good memories, just one bad. And I don't want that to stop them from experiencing such a good place. But if I knew what happened to him, I would sure feel a lot better. I would just like to know what happened to my son, that's all. Just to get some closure, that's all I want. Anyone with any information that could help in this investigation into Gary's disappearance is asked to call the Smith County Sheriff's Office at 276-783-7204. Tips can remain anonymous. All right, guys, let's get this covered really quick. Jeff, what happened? Why are you in your studio when you were just in a different room? If you go around the 14-minute mark, right as the video stops and then this new part continues, you can hear footsteps coming down the stairwell. That was my daughter. My daughter got freaked out up here and had me come up. Now I'm sweating in my studio because it's small. It's about 6 feet wide by 12 feet deep. And there's 2 floor heaters, water floor heaters. But anyway, that's besides the point. Just wanted to clear the air on that. Jeff, why do you think this is a case that leads to Dogman? Well, I'll tell you. It could possibly be Dogman, possibly be Bigfoot or Crawler. They've all been spotted in the Tazewell region. If you guys remember, DJ had a friend that lived in Tazewell by a mine. And according to FBI people that were in that region, they have a name for crawlers called Pale Demon. Now, there had been a Dogman and a pup found dead earlier last year, later last year, during the time that what I believe to be a HARP incident where it poured in one section of Tazewell and the rest was beautiful. Now, why do I feel like this is... Well, first of all, his truck's running, okay? I think possibly he went up there to... Mind you, they hadn't seen him since Wednesday morning. Sorry, I got the hiccups. They had not seen him since Wednesday, the father. All right, the police are saying that someone saw him on Thursday, someone saw him on Friday, yada yada. Now, he had missed a court hearing, but who's to say they're not just saying that? I truly believe that the police department in Tazewell and Smith and Buchanan, Mercer, all know what's going on, and they do. They want to keep a tight lid on these creatures. They don't want the people in this region knowing what's going on here. His truck's parked at the gate, doors open, running. Wallet, cash, everything's inside the car, all right? I really think he just went up there Wednesday evening to kind of clear his head. You know, he was married at one time, probably had a breakdown from what the information that is shared about this. But that's another thing. Remember, guys, he is a victim, okay? Even though people are going to be like, wait a second, he's got a child abuse case. His child abuse case was not like he hit his children. He wasn't some kind of pedo. It was a case of like a CPS case where him and his wife were probably fighting. It was nothing major. There was no major arrest. There was nothing. He was put on probation and said to get some mental help. I'm not sticking up for the guy because, you know, I don't think that as a parent, we are supposed to be able to deal with these things, you know, bite the tongue. Just take a deep breath and walk away, come back, whatever. But that's neither here nor there, guys, right? When these articles like this, they bring into the article his mental, his criminal, his this and his that. This guy's been missing for 5 years. No sign. Canine went out there. All right. Canines can't go up in the trees. These canine dogs, well, Dogman can. Bigfoot can. Crawlers can. But the canine police cannot. You know what I'm saying? And I find it kind of interesting that the dad states a couple different times, just his wording, someone or something. Animal attack. All right. He knew the area. He grew up in this area, you know. There had been a Dogman found dead last year, beginning of 2022, some 4 years later, but we know they lurk in the area. We know they're here. Something is not right with this case. And you have to kind of overlook the bad because the media does that purposely. And I was just talking to my landlord today. Yes, I'm going to be buying my house, but I still have a landlord. And explaining the Tony Aarons, Amber Miller case to him and how they tried to pin this on Charles Owensby. all right, who had a minor criminal record, whatever. But they focused on it. They focused on Aaronses. They focused on Millers. This is what they do when there's something to cover up, all right? You don't, like a few weeks ago, there was a case of an old man getting attacked and killed by 6 feral dog. Animal control and police were on the scene. Do you think in that article they mention anything negative about that guy? No. Why? Because the police and animal control witnessed this. They're trying to stop it, trying to get these dogs off the guy in Alabama. Case closed. They already know. Boom, boom. But when they don't and they have something to cover up, that's when they start throwing in the digs at the people. Clinch Mountain Wildlife Area. I gotta talk to DJ about this, because if I'm not mistaken, there had been a lot of sightings in that area. I mean, this is just another this isn't just another person, but this just keeps adding to the Virginia, not the state of Virginia, but the Tazewell, Buchanan, Smith. Smith is right there. Like, these sections are all combined, and then Mercer. And that's why I'm shocked that this one fell through the cracks on me. But as you can see what I'm saying, there's just too many inconsistencies, too many things that are showing me that law enforcement knows what's going on. Law enforcement wants to cover this up. And how else do they do it? You know, you can't dismiss that the guy's truck was running, door open, cash and card inside. If he ran away from the law, he would take that with him. You know what I mean? Even the probation officer said that he was doing the right thing prior to this. You know? Once again, I don't know the guy, and I don't know, like, what kind of person he is, but I do know that these cases, this guy is a missing person with no kind of any pointing anywhere where he went. All right. And there's no reason why the news should focus on the negative. All right. And I'm surprised. I am shocked, actually, that the news allowed the dad to say someone or something, animal attack. These are all key words that I look for. And when you come across a simple animal attack, and I don't mean simple like they're no less than a Bigfoot or Dogman attack, but they don't need to cover anything up when they have a proven case of bear, cat, dog. And I'm talking big cat, not house cat. I'm talking mountain lion, wolves, coy dog, which in my own personal, if I'm in the woods and I get attacked by a coy dog, you know, I'm whacking it with a big stick. But anyway, neither here nor there. You guys see what I'm saying? There are simple key facts to these cases. This guy went missing, and the news just covers it up, and that's how they do it. I was going to throw in a couple of encounters today, but I'll do a bonus upload in the middle of the day for you all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go state by state. All right. I'm going to go through the filing cabinet, but instead of going A to Z, even though there's no Z state, but A to Z, I'm going to start Z to A. So we'll start with W to A. guys, I hope you can see what I'm saying. I hope you really can see what I'm saying about the wording. Just a very strange surrounding. I think he went up there to get, this is what I think happened. I think that he feels like this location is a calming environment. I think he felt safe there. I believe he got his truck parked there, and just to get some clarity before court, something came out of those woods, possibly opened the door, or he had opened his own door because he heard something and was looking, and boom, gone. That's just my feeling on that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's first part of the upload. Once again, we'll start the state by state. We're going to start with Wisconsin and move our way to the A's. So with that, my friends, stay safe, stay healthy, and may the Great Spirit watch over us all, and may He guide us down that path that we call life.